Hi everyone, welcome to Cloud Computing series, and today we are starting from GPU computing to exascale and beyond. GPU computing refers to using a graphics processing units not just for graphics but for high performance computing tasks as well. GPUs are incredibly fast at handling many tasks at the same time because they have hundreds or thousands of small cores working together. See, the phrase to exascale and beyond means that GPUs are being developed to handle a massive amounts of data and calculations at speeds measured in exaflops, means a billion calculations per second. This level of performance is needed for advanced scientific simulations, AI, and data analysis. In a simple way, GPU computing is evolving to become extremely powerful, making it crucial for solving a complex and data intensive problems in the future. Okay, let's start. And then what is GPU? See, a GPU is a graphics coprocessor or a accelerator mounted on a graphics or a video card. That means it is a specialized processor designed to handle a graphics and video tasks. This next is, see, it offloads graphics tasks from the CPU, making video editing and rendering more efficient. That means it is usually part of a graphics or a video card and helps the CPU by offloading graphic intensive tasks. Yes, and this makes video editing and rendering faster and more efficient. The next is history and evolution. See, the first GPU is GeForce 256. It was released by NVIDIA in 1999. See here, NVIDIA is a technology company that is famous for making GPUs, and these GPUs are used in gaming, professional visualization, data centers, and AI applications. Yes, next is, see, it could process at least 10 million polygons per second, which was a big deal then. But today, GPUs are almost everywhere in computers, laptops, and even built into some CPUs also. So here, a polygon is usually a triangle or a combination of triangles that form a 3D models and objects in video games and simulations. The more polygons an object has, the more detailed and realistic it looks. So, when NVIDIA's GeForce 256 GPU was said to process 10 million polygons per second, it meant that the GPU could handle and render a huge number of 3D shapes very quickly, making a graphics look smoother and more detailed. Moving to the next point, that is architecture and parallelism. See, traditional CPUs have a few cores. For example, Xeon X5670 with 6 cores. See, modern GPUs, however, have hundreds of cores, allowing them to process many tasks at the same time. See, while CPUs are great for single tasks, but GPUs are built for a massive parallelism, that is, handling many tasks simultaneously but at a slower speed. Yes. The next point is general purpose GPU. This next point is general purpose GPU computing. Yes, this means, see, GPUs are not just for graphics anymore. They are used for general purpose computing too, also called GPGPU. See, a popular approach is NVIDIA's CUDA, which enables high performance computing using GPUs. See, CUDA is nothing but Compute Unified Device Architecture. It is a technology developed by NVIDIA that allows developers to use GPUs for general purpose computing rather than just rendering graphics. And this is especially used in the areas like machine learning, scientific simulations, and data analysis, where a GPU can do the work much faster than a CPU. Yes, next point is, see, GPUs are essential for tasks that require parallel processing, like graphics rendering and scientific computation. So thanks to general purpose GPU technology, these are now useful for a more than just graphics. They play a big role in high speed computing and data processing. Yes, moving to the next topic, that is how GPUs work. See, early GPUs functioned as a coprocessors attached to the CPU. That means GPUs started as a helpers for CPUs to handle a graphics tasks. Yes. See, then modern GPUs like NVIDIA GPUs have up to 128 cores on a single chip. Yes. Each core can handle 8 tasks at once, so one GPU can work on 1024 tasks at the same time. Next is parallelism versus CPU. See, GPUs exhibit a massive parallelism, handling thousands of threads simultaneously. That means GPUs are great at doing many tasks at the same time. This next is, see, in a contrast, CPUs handle only few threads at a time and are optimized for low latency. That means CPUs are good at doing a few things very fast. Yes, that is the meaning of low latency here. Yes, next point is, see, GPUs focuses on a high throughput. That means handling a lot of data at once and explicit management of on-chip memory. That means, see, the programmer has to manually control how memory is used inside the GPU chip. Yes, while CPUs focuses on quick response. Moving to the next point, advanced uses. Yes, moving to the next point, that is advanced uses. See, GPUs are no longer limited to graphics and video processing. That means GPUs are not just for graphics anymore. Yes, they are widely used in high performance computing systems, supercomputers, and parallel processing tasks. See, capable of handling a massive floating point operations in a parallel, making them ideal for data intensive calculations. That means they are great at doing a huge calculations quickly, like a simulations or a data analysis. Yes, next point is applications and deployment. See, GPUs are embedded in various devices like mobile phones, game consoles, PCs, and servers. That means nowadays GPUs are found in various devices. See, NVIDIA, CUDA, Tesla, or a Fermi GPUs are used in GPU clusters and high performance computing systems for parallel data processing. That means these special GPUs are used in data centers for high speed data processing. See here, GPU clusters in the sense these are groups of many GPUs connected together to work as a single powerful system. Okay. Yes, next point is, see, GPUs are optimized for a parallel processing, making them essential for a scientific computing, simulations, and graphics rendering. That means GPUs are powerful at handling many tasks at the same time. Yes, and making them perfect for graphics, simulations, and big data computations. The next point is, see, they offload complex computations from CPUs, improving performance for intensive tasks. Means they boost performance by taking on complex calculations and freeing up the CPU for the other tasks. Yes, moving to the next topic, that is GPU programming model. See, CPU and GPU interaction. The CPU and GPU work together to perform a parallel floating point operations. That means the CPU is like the main brain of your computer, while the GPU is like a super calculator. Yes, they work together to handle tasks that involve a lot of math and calculations. Then the CPU has a limited parallelism, while the GPU has hundreds of simple processing cores organized as a multiprocessors. That means the CPU can only handle a few tasks at once, while the GPU can handle hundreds or even thousands because it has many small processing units. That is nothing but many cores. Yes. Next is offloading computation. See, the CPU offloads a massive data processing tasks to the GPU, allowing the GPU to handle intensive floating point computations. That means the CPU gives heavy math tasks to the GPU to free itself up for other jobs. Then the next point is this offloading significantly improves the parallel execution performance. Means by doing this, the whole system work faster because the GPU can process a lots of data at the same time. This next is thread handling. See, each GPU core can execute one or more threads simultaneously, supporting a massive parallelism. Means thread is like a small job or a task that needs to be done. Yes. The GPU's cores can handle many threads at once, meaning that it can process lots of tasks simultaneously. This is why GPUs are great at handling a repetitive and large scale calculations. Is moving to the next point, that is data transfer and memory bandwidth. See, efficient communication between onboard main memory and on-chip GPU memory is crucial for maintaining a high bandwidth. See, that means data needs to improve quickly between the CPU's main memory and the GPU's own memory. If the data transfer is too slow, then the whole process gets delayed. So, maintaining a high-speed data transfer called high bandwidth is important for smooth performance. Yes, next point is CUDA programming, that is Compute Unified Device Architecture Programming. CUDA is a way to program the GPU efficiently, created by NVIDIA. Yes, it helps developers use the GPU's power to speed up tasks. And then CUDA works well with a powerful NVIDIA GPUs like GeForce 8800, Tesla, and Fermi. Then the next point is, see, GPU programming focuses on offloading a computational tasks from the CPU to the GPU, then leveraging a massive parallelism and efficient memory management to boost performance. Here, GPU programming means using the GPU to handle heavy and repetitive tasks instead of putting all the work on the CPU. Yes, this makes computing much faster and more efficient, especially when doing big data calculations or graphics rendering. Yes, next is, see, this diagram shows how GPU works with the CPU for a fast computing. See, the GPU has many processors like P1, P2 to up to Pn. Yes, that can handle hundreds or thousands of tasks at the same time using its own device memory. Yes, then the CPU on the other hand manages overall operations and connects to the main memory. Together they speed up tasks like a floating point calculations as seen in the supercomputers like the NVIDIA Fermi GPU chip with the 512 CUDA cores. Yes, used in machines like Tianhe 1A. Moving to the next topic, that is power efficiency of the GPU. Bill Daly highlights the power efficiency and a massive parallelism as a major GPU advantages over CPUs for the future. This means Bill Daly from Stanford University says that GPUs are much more efficient than CPUs because they use less power and can do many tasks at once. Yes, next point is, see, achieving an exaflops system would require around 60 GFlops per watt per core. Yes, this means, see, to build a supercomputer that can do a billion calculations per second, that called exaflops, each core would need to use about 60 GFlops per watt, which means doing a 60 billion operations per second with just 1 watt of power. Yes. This next point is power consumption comparison. See, CPU chip consumes about 2 nanojoules per instruction. That means a CPU chip uses about 2 nanojoules per instruction. A nanojoule is a tiny amount of energy. Yes. Then GPU chip. Yes, GPU chip only needs around 200 picojoules per instructions. Yes, a picojoule is even smaller than a nanojoule. Yes, the next is, see, this difference makes GPUs significantly more powerful efficient for a parallel processing. GPUs are much better at handling many tasks at once without using too much power. This next point is optimization focus. CPUs are designed to reduce the delay. That means making things happen quickly. Yes, by using caches and fast memory access. Yes, but GPUs on the other hand are designed to process lots of data at once. That is high throughput and efficiently manage on-chip memory. Yes. Yes, moving to the next. See, this diagram compares the performance of GPUs and CPUs from 2010 to 2016. This is measured in GFLOPS per watt per core, that is computing power per watt. And the green line GPU starts at 5 GFLOPS per watt in 2011 and rises consistently. And the blue line CPU starts at 0.8 GFLOPS per watt in 2011 and grows more slowly. The yellow line shows a target of 60 GFLOPS per watt for a future supercomputers. Yes, GPUs are more power efficient than CPUs, but both need to improve to meet future goals, with the data movement being a key challenge. Yes, as we have seen in the diagram, in 2010, GPUs could do 5 billion operations per second with the just 1 watt of power. Yes, CPUs in a comparison could do less than 1 GFLOP per watt. This means GPUs are much more power efficient than CPUs, especially when it comes to handling a lot of data at once. See, this difference in efficiency could be a problem when building a future supercomputers, as they may use too much power if they rely on CPUs. Just moving to the next point, challenges and future directions. Data movement dominates the power consumption, so optimizing a storage hierarchy is crucial. This means moving data between a memory and processors uses a lot of power, so optimizing a data storage is essential. Yes. Next is software and system design. See, we need a smart operating systems and a runtime support to manage power and performance efficiently. See, creating a compilers that understand how to use the GPUs efficiently will also help. Next is addressing these challenges will help improve efficiently in a parallel and distributed computing systems. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more insights on cloud computing. Also check out our playlist for more in-depth topics. See you in the